Hi everybody, we are going to continue on with our Philippians journal today. And so today I'm going to work on the pages. Now, I've cut them all out, and I didn't notice this when I designed it, but this has a strip of white at the bottom. So that will get covered up with pockets and all this sort of thing. But just to make sure, I'm going to put a piece of washi tape on mine, so you might want to do that too. Well, I don't know about you guys, but one little thing and I can get so bogged down. I like picking out washi tape. It's so funny. But I think I've got one picked, and I'm going to use just a plain, I think this is Tim Holtz one. And of course you always want to put glue because it's not archival. The glue on your washi tape is not archival, which means it will come loose eventually and fall off and not stick anymore. So you always want to put some glue on it. So I'm going to use this, glue it on. Looks like I left a little bit at the corner, but I'm sure I'll have pockets or something going in there. So, all right, so that one, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna sew these together, and there's just one signature in these little mini journals. They're all sewn together. So we're gonna fold them in half, we're gonna ink the edges, so on and so forth. And then there's something about this one that's a little bit special, so you wanna pay attention. As with any signature, your middle page is gonna show the full spread. And so there's several pages that are a full spread design. There's this one, it's continuous across both pages. This one, and this one, and then this is not. So I mean, you could still use it. It wouldn't matter. But I just wanted to point that out, that you're probably, these are not. See how they split in the middle, and they're two kind of separate designs. So these you probably wouldn't want on that middle page, or you know, it's up to you. But so pick one of these for your center fold. I think I'll keep this one is my center one. And then the other thing you want to do, we're going to glue some pages together to make pockets. So you're going to want to turn a couple pages. So for instance, maybe this one back to back, because then when we sew this together, that gives you these two back to back that you can glue and make pockets out of. And I actually might want to move back one, because I don't think I want my two pockets to be, if you do the very next one behind that center one, you'll have two pockets right following each other. So I'm going to skip one and do this one, reverse it, and then go back a couple more and flip one like that. Just trust me, when you do it, it'll make sense, because we're gonna glue those, and you don't want to waste your design by gluing them together and then the design ends up on the inside of the pocket. So here's what it'll look like. Here's my Bees and Daisies journal. It's very similar to this one. So we're going to have these pockets like this, where we've glued two pages together, and then we're going to put our little file folder inside of the pocket. So you don't want to waste your design by gluing it shut inside a pocket. And so see, there's 4 of those, and that you want them kind of spread out, I'm guessing. So that's why you want to distribute them through there a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, and I'm going to ink these. I'll come back and we'll sew this together. Oh, I know what else I need to do. Okay, so I've got these stacked the way I want them, but these are plain white on the back. And so this is a good time to do your stenciling or painting or whatever you're going to do. So I'm going to get some stencils out and do a little bit of work on these so they're not just plain white. Okay, I've got my little my distress inks, and I've got the palette so I can tell what color they are, and pulled out a few stencils. So we'll just see what we can do here. So I'm just going to kind of randomly start using different colors. All right, I've got my 2 handles, and I'm going to pull one off so I don't, if I happen to let it slip, it doesn't go on the one behind it. So I will do bundled sage. And then I like to do 2 colors at the same time. So I'm going to do moss. And hopefully I can keep these apart because I do tend to get them switched. It doesn't look like they line up as pattern or anything, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then I'll scooch down here and just put a little bit of something down here so it's not a white strip. So there's that one. Okay, and then I will do, I'm going to do carved pumpkin. I hardly ever use that, it's so bright. Okay, and then I'm going to do, oh, what is that? Abandoned coral. And then I'll pick a little bit different stencil. Uh-oh, this is orange. See what I mean? I don't know if you guys do that or not, but it seems to be a real problem for me. Okay, there's the orange. I want the coral. Okay, there's that one. And then this one is going to be a pocket. I've got these back to back, so I'm going to go ahead and put those up there. Here's another one that needs some stencils or something. I might just do, this is fine. I'll just do some, I might do some decoupage on this one later. Let's see, which one's that, coral? Yes, okay, this is the orange. Oh, the other thing we need to watch out for is making sure our pages are right set up. Okay, so these 2 are back to back, so those I'm going to use for my other set of file folders, and then this one will need ink on it. So I'm going to pick a pattern. I like this Tim Holtz one, I'll use it. And I'm going to keep these, I think I'm going to keep these same colors. I'm really liking them. And do I want to do that? Maybe I should change it. Okay, I'll better change it. I'll end up with too many things alike. And I do like the wild honey. So I'll do the wild honey and the coral, I think. Get this lined up here. There's the stenciling. Okay, and then I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ink my edges on both sides, except for the four that get glued together. I'll do those and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got my pages inked. Now I wanted to point something else out. One more thing about the order that you put them in. You always want to go through it 2 or 3 times. Make sure you've got them all right side up. That's important. And then the other thing is, when we fold this in half, remember, this is going to be the first thing you see when you open the journal. So I don't want it to be my stenciled page. I want it to be one of my design pages. So I'm going to find a design page that I like and let that be in the front. So I think I might want it to be the actual, here's one that says To the Philippians. I think I might like that to be it. So I'm going to turn that around and put that there. And then, so in other words, when it's folded, this will be the first thing you see. And then I'll have my stencil pages, that'll line up together. Those will line up. These will be glued shut. And then, oh, I took a page out, so I don't want, okay, hang on. I'm gonna move one of these up between here because I don't want those pockets. In fact, I might move, I think I'll move 2 of them up because I'll let it be this page is first, and then I'm gonna let my 2 glued pages, so there'll be a file folder that comes up. In between the other 2 that are glued shut, I'll put these 2. So you'll go along and then you'll have 2 pages, and then you'll come to the 2 that are glued together for your file folder, and then you'll have your middle one, and you'll have your other middle one, and so on. So that's going to be my final order. So just make sure you've got everything right side up. And now I'm going to go and score the middle of them and fold them in half. And so these are, let's see, this is 8 inches. So you want to score it at 4 inches. And I'm just going to turn that face down and go like that, and I'll speed this up. Okay, got those scored. I'm going to take my bone folder and just get these folds really good and flat. Okay, so now I'm going to double check one more time, make sure, see that one got upside down somehow. So I'm going to flip that around and make sure again that everything is right side up. Okay, looks good. Got that one in the front. Okay, so now I'm ready to stitch those together. Now you might want to add extra pages to yours, that's up to you. What I'm going to do is the same thing that I did on this little prayer journal. I'm going to make a separate signature of plain paper, and I'm going to add that in at the back. So I'll do that in a little while, but right now I'm going to go ahead, and I could do this all in one fell swoop, but I think I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. I've gotten used to doing it that way, and why not? So let me see if I have enough. You want 3 times the height, 1 or 2.5, something like that. Use up this if I have enough. 1, 2, yeah, plenty. Okay, so I'll use that, and then you get a upholstery needle. You can get these kits on Amazon. It's called bookbinding kits, and they come with needles and wax linen thread and an awl and a little pouch to put them in, or at least they did when I got it. And oh, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 other things. And they're not a whole lot of money. Okay, so I'm going to thread my needle and get these lined up. And I don't use clips or anything like that. I don't get too carried away when I bind my signatures. If you've watched me before, I'm pretty casual about it. So I'm going to poke a hole there. I'm going to poke a hole at the top, poke a hole at the bottom in the fold. You just want to make sure you've got all your pages pushed down really well. I want my thread to be hidden, so I'm going to start from the back. If you want it to be in the middle, you can start in the middle and then you have a little bow that shows up inside, and that's cute. Okay, I'm going to pull it so there's a little bit of a tail here, and then I'm going to go up through the top hole, and then I'm going to go all the way to the bottom hole. Put that in. I'm using my hands as my clamp, so I'm just holding it really, really tight. And then I'm going to take it back through this hole. This is the only tricky part. You don't want to snag that thread, so just be sure you're careful not to. And then you pull it through and take your needle off. And then you just want to make sure that one of these is on one side of your middle piece of thread, and one is on the other. And then you're going to pull it really, really tight. And then I tie it 3 times just because I've had issues in the past with them coming loose. So 3 or 2, 3. And then I'm just going to trim it off. So there is my signature. And now I'm ready to do some of the inside pieces. Okay, so what we've got a belly band. We're gonna have an accordion pocket. Again, here's what it looks like, only with a different design. This will go inside your back cover. That is this piece. We've got some, I'm gonna leave that for now. We've got ribbon sliders, and we've got these little edge tuck spots, and these are going to take a while to cut out, so I'm going to cut those out. And we've got these. I tell you what, let's do these first. I'm going to cut these out real quick, and we'll do the ribbon sliders and the belly band. Okay, so let me cut these out. I'm going to ink the edges, and then I'll be back. Okay, we've got our belly band and our side tuck pockets. You can doll this up a little bit by putting a piece of lace behind it, which I think I might do, but I'm going to ink them. And these are longer than your sides, but you can trim them and use them however you want to use them. So see what I'm saying? Longer than the page, so you'll have extra to play around with. So pick the pages that you want to put them on, and I think I might put them on these stamped pages. So I'm gonna just cut that off. Like that. And I might, let me look at my lace. I've got this, it's kind of hard with the mini journal. I'm used to working with a regular size journal, but what I was saying is you can take your belly band and put it on top of a piece of lace like that. And I think I will. And so I'm going to want Fabri-Tac for that, since it's lace, for cloth and lace and things like that. So I want to make sure the edges are glued pretty well. Well, I'll lay that down, put this on top of it like that. And I'll let that dry. And we'll put that in a little bit. And then I'm going to take this other flat lace I've got just to add some interest, and I'm going to cut a piece of it so I can put it behind this little tuck spot like that. And I'm going to glue it on. Did not mean to get that big blob of fabric tack on there. And I'm going to glue that on like that. And then I'm going to glue this over it, but I need to let that dry. So I'm just going to set that there for now. And then on the other side, I'll use the other piece. And let's mark it with a pen. Easier. I'm not careful. Yeah. I was letting it dry and it glued itself shut. Okay. I'm gonna just, that rolls off if you rub it, so I'm gonna get that off of there. And then while I'm gluing things, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna glue these two back-to-back pages that we're gonna make it hold a file folder. I'm gonna go ahead and put glue on those and glue them shut. There should be 4 altogether that glue shut on the 2 edges. Anything that sticks out, you can always trim up, so don't worry about that too much. And then, where's the other one? Here's the other one. And you don't want to get too much glue because you're going to stick a file folder in there. So just get it as small of a glue line as you can. And then we're going to take our circle punch, if you want to do it, and punch that so we know that there's a pocket there. So I'm just going to eyeball it. Punch that. Like that, and then we're going to ink those before we forget. Okay, so now we're ready to get our file folders. Oh, so I'm going to wait. I'll do the 2 ribbon sliders on the next video because I want to do these file folders. So I'm going to go ahead and get my scoreboard out again and score these. There should be 4. So just line that line up. And then, of course, after you fold them, you'll want to ink them. I'm going to go ahead and ink this. It'll show. Rub a little bit of ink on there. If you want to stencil the inside of your file folders, you could do that. I think I'm going to leave mine alone. Okay, and I'm going to use my bone folder too. Get these smashed down really good, and I'm going to line them up because there's a little bit of wiggle to them, and so I want to make sure they're lined up against the back side. So see, like right there, I want to make sure I've got that like covering itself, and then I'm going to go over it with the bone folder. Make sure it folds pretty much like that. That's a little bit off, but like it folds pretty much like I want it. And I'm going to be inking that, so if it does show, it looks intentional. Move it just a little bit. See if I can make it go where I want it. Yeah. Okay. All right, did I do all of them? Let me do this one. Okay, so this one's just a little bit off, so I'm going to pull it back like that, and then use the bone folder to make it go where I want it, and that makes it better. Okay, so I've got my 4 folders. Now, when you use your journal, you can fill out little words on here to tell what you're doing, what you're using them for if you want to, or you can leave them alone. And so there's, of each set, there's one on a tab on one end and one on the other. Same here, so you can put those however you want. I think I'm going to alternate them. So in the first one, and if these don't fit, you can always trim them just a little bit if you want, but they should fit. Yeah, there should be plenty of room to fit in there. And here's my second one. So I'll put that in there. And then this one, I'll put the third one. Like that. And then this one will go in the last one. Like that. Okay, so now we've got it loaded with our file folders, and we're a good ways into making this. So I'm going to stop with this one, and I'll come back on the next video and we'll go on with some of the other things. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.